You've joined the live before, I think. It's Friday. What's for lunch? What y'all had lunch already? Where you viewing from? Let me know where you viewing from. What time it is? Where you at? What y'all have for lunch? Because it's 2-something here, so I had lunch. I kind of, I ain't do too much today. Today was definitely, it's Friday. I need a day between Saturday and Sunday. There needs to be a day in between Saturday and Sunday. Call it Saturday Sunday or something, because, oh my gosh. We keep getting executive orders for everything except some extra days. We need some extra days in the week. Not to work. Simply to rest. Simply because we need to rest. Smith, hey. What people we up to? Anywho. I don't even. Welcome to the live. I'm just listening to the radio. Waiting on time. I got to my kids' school a little early. I'm not big on picking them up early because every time I get here early to pick them up, you know what they say? Can you come back? Or they ask me to wait. They be doing assignments and stuff, so. Story time. I did see a video of a lady. She was going through with her kids, and the comments did not pass the vibe check, dog. It's like, I don't know if it's a mix between people who do have children and people who don't have children, who are like shaming this mom because her kids are being disrespectful. And while I don't post on here about the times that I've encountered my children being disrespectful, that at the end of the day, if your child is being disrespectful to you, it's not a reflection of you. They are going to be who they want to be. And, you know, parents have to allow their kids to be whoever they want to be. All we can do is be who we're going to be in hopes and teach them, be who we're going to be while teaching them who they should be as far as characteristics. But who they in turn end up being after their formative years is who they're going to be. Like, there's nothing you could do beyond that. When I went through a period of time where my daughter was in that in-between phase and she started really being like very rude and disrespectful, there comes a time where therapy got involved, right? And having the conversation about, you know, would you be okay with me treating you like that? It's a reflective place. You got to allow them time to reflect. And she was crying and saying she didn't want to send them with their dad because their dad not a good person. But guess what? They want to go. You gotta let them go. I just posted an episode to Black Girl Say Something, the podcast, every Friday. Parenting requires detaching from your children, you know, and this is why you'll see somebody they'll pour everything into their children, and when their children get grown, you know, they have this detachment issue. We see it a lot with mothers to sons. Oh, my son, hey, that's my son. Yeah, he's your son, but he got to grow up and be a man and be a husband to somebody, a daddy to his children. He got to grow up and go. You know, you don't want to let your baby girl go. Yeah, my children gonna forever be my babies, but I cannot baby them up until their adulthood. That's not okay. So this young lady posted a video, and I left her some encouraging words and was like, you gotta let them go so they can grow. I don't have the opportunity or the luxury of my kids going with their dad because of a restraining order. So I don't have that. But you don't think they ever said to me, oh, I want to go be with daddy. They said it. They got disrespectful. They got out. But they also was in therapy, and they had to be able to work through those things. And I know not everybody has the means or the capability of putting their child in therapy. And the reality of parenthood, I know people say it on here all the time. To take care of children, you have to have money. But you know what you need? Time. And sometimes I wonder, like, dog, I was on therapy with my kid's therapist yesterday. And she was just, you know, catching up with me what's been going on the last couple of sessions. And while they're making great progress, she said to me, I'm proud to see how you take time to individually meet their needs. And I was like, it's really a lot of work. Raising the children, because you don't raise them to be children. You're raising your children to be decent human beings. It requires time. And so, you know, you could say, oh, put them in therapy. But if I was working a regular 9-to-5 job, even when I was working a professor job, I wouldn't have time to be in therapy sessions with my kids. When I was a professor, I'm hoping to secure a contract in August. But the time that I've been out of work, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, I've been out of work 9 months. And so to be out of work 9 months, thank you. I'm over here just running my mouth. I'm talking about parenting and kids and stuff like that, because that's, you know, that's what I got. I got that going on. So if I've been out of work 9 months and I've taken these 9 months to pour into my children, having children, you need money, but you also need time. And so in this time, let me tell you something. My daughter been in therapy. I've been in the middle of a divorce due to domestic violence and all of that since 2021. She's been in therapy since 2021. She just got notice. I just got notice yesterday that she can go, instead of, she was having therapy twice a week. Oh yeah, girl, it get real over here because this black girl have something to say. I've had a podcast since 2022. We got black girl have something to say. I've had a podcast since 2022. We got over 200 and some odd episodes. I post episode every Friday wherever you listen to podcasts. But my daughter been in therapy since 2021. So when I put this in perspective for you, the last 9 months has been the most progress she's made in therapy. And I attribute that to the fact that I'm not working. Do I need to work? Yeah, bills have fallen behind, but I had some investments I was able to pull out to pay some bills up. But guess what? The bills ain't stopped. The bills are still there. But when the therapist said to me yesterday, she's so proud to see how I can meet both of my children's needs individually. I said to her, it's a lot of work. And then I thought about it. I'm like, dang, it seemed like this was supposed to be the job all along for the last 9 months. Because I was a professor at a university, my contract ended back in June. I knew my contract was going to end because the university was having some financial issues and it wasn't sustainable. So if we're being honest, I've been looking for a job since last year, January, 2024, January, and I had 6 months to work out my contract. So when, you know, I saw that young lady's video and she was talking about her kids. Anywho, it goes back to, tune into the episode that I posted this week, because I talk about how, and this is just what works for me. It doesn't work for everybody. But being an effective parent, I don't want to consider it good, bad, or indifferent. Being an effective parenting requires you to detach from your children. It requires you to, at some point, you know, when they cut that umbilical cord and that baby now has its own life, you're not no longer sustaining its life. Just like a therapist once told me, you give your child a toolbox. The toolbox is empty. Then little by little, you start telling them what the tools are. You start showing them what the tools are. But eventually that toolbox going to get so full and they got to take that toolbox and they got to go fix their own problems. And they're going to have to go through their own things. And they're going to have to do their own things. I see y'all liking the live. Thank you. I'm going to save this one because I started to get deep. I'm going to save this one and post it on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube if you're not subscribed already. But yeah, it requires you to detach. And so it goes back to this young, I'm talking about all of this because there's a young lady's video I saw here on TikTok. I want to say she has 4 kids, and she was going through with her children, and she just was giving us like a little story time, and the comments didn't pass the vibe check, because I'm like, y'all want to talk about, like, you know, there's kids who are disrespectful to their parents because maybe they have something mental going on, something emotional going on. But when she explained her first 3 kids are from one dad, and I think the one is from the other one, she said they were arguing, they were fighting, and it was on their way to school. And she tried to listen and let them work through it themselves. But then the other one started doing too much. So much so that the little girl slammed her hand in the door. The 12-year-old slammed her hand in the door and she hurt her fingers. And this lady's fingers is bruised up, bloodied up, and whatever. And it's like, damn, that's crazy. And of all the stuff I've ever been through with my children, as far as like getting them the help that they need so that they don't, meeting their emotional needs, I could sit up here and tell you I've been through the disrespectful phase. Did I get over it? I had to get over it. And I was talking to somebody and they said, you know how I know you real? Because you told me you did not like who you saw your daughter becoming. And for a long time, I did not like who she was becoming. But again, if that's who she wanted to be, I kind of have to detach from that and allow her the room to be whoever she wants to be. I got her the help that she needed. And me and her had a heart-to-heart in her therapy session where it was like, do you want the help that I'm giving you? Do you want to see if it's going to work? Guess what? It worked. Same thing with my son. When this all first started, me getting in the middle of a divorce due to domestic violence, of course, it's pre his formative years, because he's 10 now. This started when he was 6. Of course, it's, oh, you this, you that, but he's 6. It's like, what I'm going to do, pop him in the mouth? No, I've never laid hands on my children. So, you know, that might work for you, that worked for you. But that was never something, because I grew up being hit out of anger. So I equate hitting with anger. There's not anything that's ever going to make me angry enough to want to hit somebody who cannot fight me back. Because I used to fight in real life, right? I didn't never used to, you know, they be like, let them swing first. I'm going to let you swing first. But you gonna miss, because I got to swing second. So I won with all that talking. You gonna have to swing first. I got to make sure you miss. That's how I learned how to fight. Let them swing first. Make sure they miss. And let loose on their ass. So, anywho, I got to pick up my children. It is Friday. On Friday, in my house, we do all of our chores, so we don't have to do chores on the weekend. We're going to the circus. We still celebrating my daughter's birthday, y'all. Exactly. If you can't communicate your points with children without violence, there's a bigger issue. Hello. If you can't communicate your point to children without violence, there's a bigger issue. Come on. Don't let me get on here and start preaching. I'm going to bring this topic back up tonight. I'm going to create a live event, and I'm going to post it in the, I'm going to go live tonight. I'll probably go live and like do my makeup or something and talk more about this, because I like to have these types of conversations around my children, because one, they know they can't run over me. And even if they try, which they have, I'm going to be honest with you. One time, both of them ran up on me. I was like, are y'all going to jump me? And I really had to be like, oh, that's not how we don't communicate like that. But again, my children didn't only experience me as their parent. They also experienced their dad, who was very violent. So they used to buck up at me. But there's nothing that they ever did that would make me want to put 1-2 to them. Like, I will fight an adult before I fight a child. And even when people be like, I fight kids, unless that kid run up on me with that 1-2, girl, I did. I was like, are y'all gonna jump me? Because I had to make sure, like, because, baby, I don't even play them kind of games. So I don't put my hands on y'all. So y'all better not be thinking about putting y'all hands on me. But I'm going to continue this conversation later today, because I like to have these conversations around them. Because, again, they know that their mom is a teacher by nature. Like, there's always a lesson. But I had to take my daughter's advice in how I communicate with her when we sat with her therapist. Because she said her therapist is hard to talk to me. And I'm like, me? And, again, assimilation, you know, when you hear that it's hard to talk, your friends, it's hard to talk to their parents, but your friends don't have a parent like me. So you assimilating yourself with them. But again, it was the conditioning brought on from things that happened way before I became their primary parent. Right? So, anywho, with a little peace and love, we could get through anything if you want to. But as a parent, I know sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, but that's my child. She really didn't want to let them kids go with their daddy. I said, babe, you're going to have to let them go. And when they come back, they can't come back under the guise of, oh, they want to be with you. They have to come back and they have to apologize. And the only apology is change behavior. I do not accept apologies. Heavy on if they want to. Yeah, especially when they want to. And I don't brag and boast in what I do for my kids to my kids, because guess what? Ain't nobody gonna do it like me. So I don't even brag on it. They gonna just have to see. Y'all, I haven't drank a Dr. Pepper in like 100 years. And they made a mistake on my order, and now I got a Dr. Pepper, and now I'm like, damn, that do taste good. But let me go pick up thing 1 and thing 2. I'm gonna holler at y'all.